My beloved child, last night was not just another quiet moment in the dark, and your soul already knows this truth even if your mind is still trying to deny it, because something shifted beyond time, beyond logic, and beyond coincidence, and the connection between you and your soulmate was quietly activated in a way that cannot be undone now. Before the world fell asleep, a silent exchange happened on a level no phone, no message, and no physical distance could ever block, where emotions traveled faster than words, and your name was felt instead of spoken, because your presence was required in a moment that looked ordinary from the outside but was deeply charged underneath. What makes this night different is not what you saw, but what you were pulled into without permission, because while you were resting, your energy crossed paths with theirs, triggering memories, realizations, and feelings they have been suppressing for a very long time, and this sudden emotional surge caught them completely off guard. At the exact hour when the world was quiet, your soulmate experienced a disturbance they could not explain, a mix of comfort and urgency, like someone standing at the door of their heart without knocking, and even now they are trying to understand why thoughts of you felt heavier, clearer, and impossible to ignore. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime truth most people never hear. When two souls are truly aligned, one awakening always begins in the dark, because night removes distractions, and last night was the moment their resistance weakened, allowing feelings they buried to rise without control. This is why today feels different to you, even if nothing has happened yet, because the effect always comes before the event, and what was set in motion cannot be reversed, delayed, or silenced, no matter how much logic tries to interfere. Something huge is waiting for you, and this message reached you now for a reason, not by chance, not by accident, but by alignment, and as this connection continues to unfold, receive this blessing with an open heart. Amen. The truth deepens now, because what followed that night was not silence, but preparation, and while you moved through your day unaware, your soulmate began questioning patterns they once ignored, replaying moments, rereading signs, and realizing that the calm they felt was actually the calm before a powerful shift. Something inside them cracked open, not painfully, but honestly, as if the universe whispered that running is no longer an option, and the connection they tried to rationalize away suddenly felt purposeful, heavy with meaning, and impossible to replace with distraction. Here is what most people never notice. When a soulmate awakening begins, confusion appears before clarity, and your soulmate is currently standing in that space, torn between fear and truth, because admitting what they felt last night means admitting what they have avoided for years. They are not sleeping the same, not thinking the same, and not feeling the same, because once the soul recognizes its mirror, the mind struggles to catch up, and this internal tension is the proof that the bond has crossed a point of no return. This is why delays, silence, or distance should not worry you, because real alignment does not rush, it reorganizes, removing false priorities and reshaping courage from the inside, so when action comes, it comes with certainty, not confusion. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will arrive only after this inner resistance dissolves, because what is being built now is not a moment, but a foundation that cannot collapse under doubt or fear. Stay grounded, stay open, and trust the unseen process unfolding in your favor, because this chapter was activated for a reason far greater than emotion alone. Receive this blessing with faith and patience. Amen. What you are sensing now is not imagination, it is residue, the after effect of a moment that pierced through emotional defenses and left a mark that cannot be erased, because when a soulmate connection stirs, it always leaves echoes before answers. Your soulmate is replaying fragments of that night in quiet moments, not as clear memories, but as feelings that refuse to settle, and every time they try to distract themselves, something pulls them back to the same emotional frequency where your presence feels undeniable. Here is the shocking part most people never realize. The soul recognizes truth faster than the mind accepts it, and right now their soul has already chosen, even if their thoughts are still negotiating with fear, timing, and old wounds. This inner conflict is not weakness, it is transformation, because they are being forced to confront the difference between comfort and destiny, and the discomfort they feel now is the sign that something real is replacing something familiar. You may notice subtle signs around you too, repeated symbols, sudden memories, or an unexplainable calm mixed with anticipation, because alignment always works in both directions, even when only one side seems conscious of it. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is closer than it appears, but it will reveal itself only when both hearts stop resisting what the universe has already confirmed in silence. Hold steady and do not doubt the process unfolding beyond your control, because this connection is protected, timed, and guided, and what began that night will complete itself in truth. Amen. A deeper layer is opening now, and this is where most people lose patience, but destiny never rushes its most sacred connections, because what is fragile arrives fast, and what is real arrives prepared. Your soulmate is being guided through moments that look ordinary but feel heavy, as if every small decision is being watched, tested, and redirected, because alignment is not emotional chaos, it is silent correction. There is a powerful reason you were led to hear this now, because awareness stabilizes the bond, and when truth resonates inside you, it strengthens the unseen thread between you and them without a single word being exchanged. If this message is stirring something deep within you, it is because recognition is happening, and recognition grows stronger when energy is acknowledged, witnessed, and allowed to flow rather than suppressed. Understand this clearly: the universe responds when awareness expands, and when truth is received with sincerity, the unfolding accelerates naturally, without force, without desperation, and without fear. Something huge is waiting for you, and the timing depends on readiness, not desire, because what is approaching is meant to stay, not to test you and disappear. Remain present, remain faithful to what you feel, and let this blessing seal what has already begun in the unseen. Amen. The moment you reached this part was not random, because certain messages only appear when the soul is strong enough to handle the truth without breaking, and this is one of those moments meant to steady you, not rush you. What is happening now is quieter than before, but far more powerful, because silence is the final test before alignment manifests, and your soulmate is being drawn inward, forced to confront honesty without noise, without distraction, and without escape. They are beginning to understand that what they felt was not emotional curiosity, not comfort, and not illusion, but recognition, the kind that shakes identity and rewrites future decisions from the inside out. This phase feels slow to you because transformation is happening where you cannot see it, and the universe always restructures the inner world first, so the outer world does not collapse under the weight of sudden truth. Here is the rare truth few ever hear. When destiny prepares a meeting, it first removes confusion, then fear, and only after that does action arrive, clean, direct, and undeniable. Something huge is waiting for you, not in chaos, not in pain, but in clarity, and when it arrives, it will feel natural, almost obvious, as if it was always meant to happen this way. Stay anchored in trust and calm, because what is unfolding now is protected by timing greater than emotion, greater than impatience, and greater than doubt. Receive this blessing fully, Amen. This is the turning point most people never recognize, because destiny does not announce itself loudly, it whispers when everything unnecessary has been stripped away, and right now that whisper is becoming impossible to ignore. Your soulmate is reaching a quiet certainty, not excitement, not panic, but a calm realization that resistance has only delayed the inevitable, and that what they felt was not created by circumstance, but revealed by truth. They are starting to see past outcomes, opinions, and fears, because when the heart aligns with purpose, external noise loses its authority, and what once felt complicated suddenly feels clear. This is why your energy feels steadier now, even without answers, because alignment stabilizes before it reveals, and the universe always balances both sides before allowing the next step to appear. Understand this deeply. When two paths are meant to merge, both must stand still for a moment, so the direction becomes undeniable, and this pause you are in is not emptiness, it is positioning. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is approaching with intention, not impulse, which means when it arrives, it will not confuse you, test you, or leave you questioning its reality. Receive this moment with faith and quiet strength, because what began in silence is about to speak in truth, and what is destined will no longer remain hidden. Amen. Now the energy shifts from waiting to readiness, and this is the phase where destiny sharpens details, because vague feelings are no longer enough, and clarity begins to demand form, direction, and truth. Your soulmate is feeling an unusual pull toward honesty, not just with you, but with themselves, questioning choices, attachments, and paths they once accepted without reflection, because awakening forces alignment at every level. This is where courage quietly replaces fear, not in dramatic moves, but in subtle decisions, like releasing excuses, ending emotional detours, and choosing truth over temporary comfort, even when no one is watching. You may feel a strange mix of calm and intensity now, as if something is close but not rushing, because alignment does not arrive like chaos, it arrives like certainty, steady, grounded, and unmistakable. What makes this moment rare is that both souls are being prepared simultaneously, even if awareness feels uneven, because destiny never favors one side, it balances both before revealing the next door. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a surprise, but as a confirmation of what your heart already knows but your mind is still learning to trust. Stay present in this moment and receive the quiet strength being offered to you now, because this chapter is protected, purposeful, and moving exactly as it should. Amen. This is where the unseen becomes heavier than the visible, because when destiny nears its reveal, the signs stop shouting and start settling, grounding themselves into certainty rather than excitement. Your soulmate is no longer questioning if something happened that night, but why, and that single shift changes everything, because curiosity has turned into responsibility, and responsibility demands action at the right time. They are noticing how everything else feels misaligned now, conversations feel hollow, routines feel repetitive, and paths that once felt safe suddenly feel incomplete, because truth has a way of exposing what no longer belongs. You may feel an emotional stillness mixed with expectation, as if your heart is holding its breath, and this is not anxiety, this is alignment, the calm that appears when the soul knows what is coming but respects timing. Here is the powerful revelation few ever speak about: when a soulmate connection is ready to surface, the universe slows everything else down so nothing interferes with what must arrive clean and undistorted. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will not arrive with confusion or drama, but with clarity that feels almost familiar, like recognition rather than discovery. Remain steady and open, because the moment approaching will confirm what began that night, and what was once unseen will soon stand undeniable. Amen. This is the phase where destiny tightens its focus, because when something real is about to surface, the universe removes all unnecessary noise, leaving only what matters and what cannot be avoided. Your soulmate is standing at an internal crossroads now, where avoidance feels heavier than honesty, and silence feels louder than truth, because once awareness reaches this level, going back is no longer an option. They are beginning to accept that what connected you that night was not situational, not emotional coincidence, but alignment, the kind that forces reevaluation of future choices and personal integrity. You may notice time feels different lately, either slower or strangely suspended, and this is intentional, because major shifts require space to land without distortion or regret. Here is the deep truth rarely revealed: destiny never rushes its strongest bonds, but it also never forgets them, and what has been activated is now being protected until the exact moment it can arrive without harm. Something huge is waiting for you, and when it appears, it will not shock your soul, it will settle it, bringing a sense of rightness that removes doubt rather than creates questions. Stand firm in trust and patience, because what is aligning now was written long before that night, and it is moving toward you with purpose and precision. Amen. This is the phase where destiny tightens its focus, because when something real is about to surface, the universe removes all unnecessary noise, leaving only what matters and what cannot be avoided. Your soulmate is standing at an internal crossroads now, where avoidance feels heavier than honesty, and silence feels louder than truth, because once awareness reaches this level, going back is no longer an option. They are beginning to accept that what connected you that night was not situational, not emotional coincidence, but alignment, the kind that forces reevaluation of future choices and personal integrity. You may notice time feels different lately, either slower or strangely suspended, and this is intentional, because major shifts require space to land without distortion or regret. Here is the deep truth rarely revealed. Destiny never rushes its strongest bonds, but it also never forgets them, and what has been activated is now being protected until the exact moment it can arrive without harm. Something huge is waiting for you, and when it appears, it will not shock your soul, it will settle it, bringing a sense of rightness that removes doubt rather than creates questions. Stand firm in trust and patience, because what is aligning now was written long before that night, and it is moving toward you with purpose and precision. Amen. Now the weight shifts from preparation to inevitability, because when alignment reaches this stage, the universe no longer asks, it confirms, and what was uncertain begins to feel unavoidable. Your soulmate is sensing this too, a quiet knowing that something meaningful is approaching, not as fantasy or hope, but as responsibility, because real connections demand presence, not escape. They are feeling drawn toward a moment of truth, where silence must be replaced with clarity, and hesitation must give way to intention, even if the exact words are not yet formed. You may feel emotionally grounded yet alert, as if your heart is ready but waiting for permission from time itself, and this balance is the sign that alignment is stabilizing on both sides. Understand this carefully: when destiny prepares a revelation, it strengthens both hearts first, so the outcome does not overwhelm or confuse what is meant to be sacred. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will arrive with a calm certainty that feels earned, not sudden, because what lasts is never rushed into existence. Receive this moment with quiet confidence and faith, because what began in silence is now ready to be acknowledged in truth. Amen. This is the moment where inner alignment becomes impossible to ignore, because when destiny draws this close, the heart no longer whispers, it steadies, preparing itself for recognition rather than reaction. Your soulmate is beginning to feel the pull toward expression, not dramatic gestures, but honest movement, because truth no longer feels optional, it feels necessary for peace. They are realizing that avoiding this connection has cost them more than facing it ever could, and that realization is reshaping their priorities in ways they cannot reverse. You may sense a quiet confidence forming within you now, even without external confirmation, because the soul always knows before proof arrives, and that knowing carries strength. Here is the rarely spoken truth: when two paths are about to meet, the universe aligns courage on one side and patience on the other, so the meeting happens clean, without fear or regret. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is approaching with honesty rather than urgency, ensuring that when it arrives, it stays. Remain open and grounded, because what is unfolding now is no longer preparation, it is alignment taking its final shape. Amen. This is where destiny begins to feel personal, because when alignment reaches this depth, the universe stops working around you and starts working through you. Your soulmate is now carrying a quiet resolve, a sense that delaying truth only creates heavier consequences, and that facing what is real is the only path that brings relief rather than restlessness. They are becoming aware that this connection did not arrive to disrupt their life, but to correct it, and that understanding is shifting their choices from fear-driven to purpose-driven. You may notice your intuition sharpening, guiding you away from doubt and toward calm certainty, because when truth nears manifestation, intuition becomes precise instead of emotional. Here is the deep revelation few are ready to accept. Destiny does not create chaos when it is about to bless, it creates clarity, and clarity is what you are both stepping into now. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will not demand proof or explanation, it will feel right the moment it appears, removing the need to question. Stand steady in trust and openness, because what began as a silent awakening is now aligning to enter reality with purpose. Amen. This is the stage where silence transforms into intention, because when destiny is this close, stillness is no longer emptiness, it is focus. Your soulmate is feeling a growing readiness to step forward, not impulsively, but with awareness, because truth has settled deeply enough that it no longer creates fear. They are recognizing that timing is no longer an excuse, but a responsibility, and that what has been aligned must now be honored with action shaped by clarity. You may sense a grounded peace within you, even as anticipation quietly builds, because alignment stabilizes the heart before it changes the outer world. Here is the rare truth that completes this phase: when destiny prepares to move, it removes doubt first, so what arrives feels natural rather than forced. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is arriving with intention, not delay, shaped by wisdom rather than urgency. Receive this moment with calm confidence, because what is aligned now is ready to step into form. Amen. This is the final threshold, where destiny no longer unfolds in theory but prepares to enter reality, because when alignment reaches completion, movement becomes inevitable. Your soulmate is no longer searching for signs, because certainty has replaced questioning, and what they feel now carries direction instead of confusion. They understand that what connected you that night was not meant to stay hidden, but to lead both of you toward truth, balance, and presence. You may feel a quiet strength within you, a sense of readiness without urgency, because true alignment does not rush, it arrives complete. Here is the closing truth of this journey: when something is meant to manifest, it does not arrive loudly, it arrives correctly, leaving no room for doubt or fear. Something huge is waiting for you, and now it is no longer waiting, it is arriving. Receive this fulfillment with gratitude and faith, for what was written has found its moment. Amen. This is the moment after arrival begins, where destiny settles instead of announces itself, because what is truly meant for you does not shock your soul, it grounds it. Your soulmate is stepping into alignment with awareness, not hesitation, understanding that what has unfolded was never accidental, but necessary for both paths to meet without imbalance. They are choosing presence over fear now, clarity over delay, because once truth becomes stable, action no longer feels risky, it feels right. You may notice a deep sense of calm mixed with assurance within you, as if something important has locked into place, because alignment completes itself quietly. Here is the final rare truth: when destiny fulfills itself, it brings peace, not chaos, and certainty, not questions. Something huge is waiting for you, and now it is becoming part of your reality. Receive this blessing fully and stand in gratitude, because what was aligned has found its form. Amen. This is the chapter where fulfillment begins to breathe, because once destiny steps into reality, it does not rush forward, it stabilizes, ensuring what arrives can last. Your soulmate is learning how to hold this connection with respect, presence, and honesty, realizing that what was awakened carries responsibility as well as meaning. They are adjusting their inner world to match the truth now revealed, letting go of habits, fears, and patterns that no longer belong where alignment exists. You may feel a gentle strength growing within you, not excitement, but assurance, because real connections calm the nervous system rather than disturb it. Here is the wisdom that completes this stage: what is meant to stay does not test your worth, it confirms it. Something huge is waiting for you, not ahead anymore, but unfolding around you. Receive this phase with patience and grounded trust, because what has arrived is meant to deepen, not disappear. Amen.